Living together isn't romance, it's an exam. She doesn't announce it, but the moment she moves in, the testing begins. How you handle your time, your ambition, your emotions, your boundaries, each becomes a question, and your answers determine whether she stays in admiration or quietly slides into contempt. Most men walk into this exam unprepared, mistaking comfort for security. That mistake is why so many relationships collapse. But if you know the one rule, you won't just survive cohabitation, you'll master it. And today, I'm going to hand you that rule before you make the biggest mistake of your life. The illusion of cohabitation. Most men walk into the idea of living with a woman like it's the natural graduation of romance. They think, we love each other. We're spending nights together anyway, so why not make it official? It feels practical, even mature, splitting bills, sharing chores, waking up next to her every morning. On the surface, it's the picture-perfect evolution of love. But here's where reality cuts through fantasy. Cohabitation isn't about proximity, it's about power. The moment you merge spaces, you're not just bringing her into your home. You're stepping into a new dynamic that silently shifts the balance of the relationship. What men see as convenience, women experience as control. And it's not intentional, it's instinct. Women have always been environment shapers, nest builders, security seekers. The house is not just where she lives. It's the stage where her psychology takes the lead. This is the trap most men don't even know they're walking into. You think you're upgrading intimacy, but what you're really doing is volunteering for a silent negotiation of authority. Every decision, every compromise, every small habit becomes a referendum on who leads and who follows. She's not consciously plotting against you, but her psychology is always measuring. Is this man firm or is he pliable? Is he leading or is he drifting? And that's the brutal irony. You move in expecting more closeness, but closeness without clarity becomes suffocating. You wanted warmth, but you find yourself in an invisible battlefield where every detail, how you spend your time, how you leave your shoes, how you pursue your goals, becomes ammunition. You thought this was love's next chapter. In truth, it's the opening act of a test you never signed up for, the silent restructuring of the frame. Imagine a man who finally takes the leap. After 2 years of dating, he decides it's time. He invites his girlfriend to move in, convinced it's the natural next step. At first, everything feels like a dream. She decorates the living room with soft touches. She brings order to the kitchen. She cooks dinners that make the place feel alive. He feels lucky, proud, like he's entered a deeper phase of love. But slowly, the sweetness turns into something else. At first, it's harmless. She comments on how he folds laundry. She suggests a different way to arrange his shoes. She reminds him to manage his time better. Less gaming, fewer late nights at work. He laughs it off, thinking, this is what couples do. Compromise, adjust, grow together. But he doesn't notice the deeper current running beneath those tiny corrections. What he interprets as love in action is, in fact, a restructuring of the frame. Bit by bit, his habits are no longer his. His space feels less like his home and more like hers. The man she once admired, the one with his own rhythm, his own boundaries, quietly starts disappearing. Without realizing it, he shifts from being the man she respected to the boy she corrects. This is the hidden transformation. When she moves in, she's not just bringing clothes and furniture. She's bringing her psychology, her instinct to reshape the environment into something she feels secure controlling. It's not malicious. It's not even conscious. But it's relentless. Every little adjustment becomes one more brick in the wall between who you were and who she is trying to mold. And here lies the danger. He doesn't resist because he thinks resistance is petty. He believes giving in shows love. But in reality, it's the first step in eroding the very foundation of attraction. He hasn't noticed it yet, but she has. The mask comes off. When you're dating, you only see fragments of each other. She chooses her best angles, her most polished words. She curates her presence the way someone curates a social media feed, controlled, deliberate, calculated, and you do the same. You pick your shirts carefully, hide the bad moods, filter your flaws. Why? Because in that phase, you're still competing. You're both auditioning for long-term acceptance. But the moment you live under the same roof, the performance ends. She no longer feels the need to win you. She has you. And subconsciously, that flips a switch. The mask comes off. The version of her you once saw, the selective, charming, agreeable version, fades. And what replaces it is raw, unfiltered psychology. Here's the truth men overlook. When the mask comes off, her questions change. Before moving in, she asked, "Do I love him?" After moving in, her question becomes, "Can I manage him? Can he lead me? Is he strong enough to withstand my storms long term?" She stops assessing your potential as a boyfriend and starts evaluating you as a life partner. And the criteria are far less forgiving. That's where the silent danger lies. You think cohabitation will deepen intimacy, but intimacy without boundaries doesn't create love. It creates exposure. Every habit, every flaw, every undisciplined moment is no longer dismissed as quirks. They're evidence. Evidence of whether you're a man she respects or a boy she'll eventually outgrow. The comfort trap. Men assume that comfort is the prize. They believe once she sees the real them, she'll love them even more. Wrong. Comfort without authority breeds contempt. Because in her psychology, the moment you relax, the moment you lose that edge of leadership, she doesn't feel closer. She feels less secure, and when a woman feels less secure, she respects you less. What you thought would make her love you more, in fact, accelerates the erosion of attraction. The mask is gone, and now the test begins. The split in psychology. Here's where men and women diverge in how they see living together. For a man, moving in feels like a victory. It's proof he's chosen, proof he's achieved stability in love. He sees cohabitation as the reward for winning her heart. In his mind, he's crossed the finish line. But for a woman, that moment is not the finish line. It's the starting line of a new evaluation. She doesn't think, "Now I can relax." She thinks, "Now the real test begins." Her psychology isn't celebrating, it's recalibrating. She shifts from attraction mode to assessment mode, scanning every detail of your life as evidence of whether you're built to lead long term. This is why men so often get blindsided. They interpret her new behavior as nagging or changing. But it's not random, it's evolutionary. Once she shares space with you, her instincts shift toward future security. She's not just asking, "Do I enjoy being with him?" She's asking, "Can this man protect me, provide stability, and maintain authority in the years ahead?" And that shift changes everything. So now you understand the shift. For her, moving in isn't the finish line. It's the starting line of a new evaluation. And whether you realize it or not, the moment she carries her bags into your place, the exam begins. But here's the problem. Most men don't even know they're being tested. They think the little frictions are just normal couple things. They think giving in, adjusting, compromising endlessly is proof of love. Wrong. What's happening is a series of silent tests. Tests every woman runs when she shares her space with you. Fail these tests, and she'll never tell you outright. She won't sit you down and say, "You failed my boundaries test, so I'm losing respect for you." Instead, she'll quietly downgrade you in her mind. Respect will wither, and attraction will erode. Pass them, and she'll never say, "You passed my ambition test, and I admire you more now." Instead, she'll simply relax, trust your leadership, and deepen her loyalty. Let's break them down. Test 1. Boundaries. It always starts small. Where you leave your shoes, how you spend your evenings, whether you text back quickly, whether you let her rearrange your space without asking. On the surface, it looks harmless. She just wants things neat. She just wants you attentive. She just wants order. But what she's really testing is this. Does your word carry weight? Do you stand firm on how you live, or do you bend the moment she frowns? If you bend instantly, she learns one thing: your boundaries are flexible. And once she knows they're flexible, she will push them further and further. This isn't because she's evil. It's psychology. She's measuring. Can I trust this man to hold the line when life gets harder than shoes by the door? Or will he crumble under real pressure? Fail here, and you're not showing love. You're training her to believe your standards don't matter. And once that belief sets in, the slope gets slippery fast. Test 2. Ambition. This is the most dangerous test because it often looks sweet on the surface. She'll crave more nights in, more closeness, more togetherness. It sounds romantic. It feels affectionate. You think, she just loves me so much she wants more time with me. But underneath, there's another layer. What she's actually watching is whether your drive can withstand comfort. Will you still hit the gym? Will you still wake up early? Will you still grind toward your mission? Or will you abandon discipline to keep her happy? Here's the brutal truth. The moment you give up your path for her, attraction begins to die. She might smile when you cancel plans to stay in. She might cuddle closer when you skip the gym. She might thank you when you take a night off your business grind. But deep inside, she's recording it as evidence. This man's ambition is negotiable. I can steer him. And the second she feels she can steer you away from your mission, respect collapses. Because if she can pull you off course with comfort, life will pull you off course with pressure. And no woman can trust that. Test 3. Emotional control. This is the test most men fail, because emotions run wild once you live together. Arguments multiply, friction increases, stress surfaces. And here's the truth. She will provoke you, sometimes intentionally, sometimes unconsciously. Why? Because she needs to see if you can stay grounded when the storm hits. Explode in anger and she feels unsafe. Withdraw into sulking and she feels bored. Only calm, steady leadership builds respect. Let that sink in. It's not the absence of conflict that matters. It's how you handle conflict. If you stay grounded, if you can listen, hold frame, and calmly enforce boundaries, she feels secure. And security is the foundation of attraction. But if she learns she can push your buttons, if you rage, sulk, stonewall, or collapse emotionally, she no longer sees a man. She sees a boy she has to manage. And once she sees you as a boy, desire evaporates. Test 4. Masculinity. This one is subtle but deadly. She'll push against your role as leader in small, trivial details. Finances, household decisions, even things as silly as the thermostat. It's not about the issue itself. It's primal. Her psychology is asking, am I with a man who can hold the line, or a child I'll have to manage? She doesn't consciously think about it this way, but the push is instinctual. She challenges your authority not to sabotage you, but to verify you. Can you make decisions with confidence? Can you enforce financial discipline? Can you protect the environment without folding under pressure? If you fail here, it doesn't just chip away at attraction. It annihilates it. Because in her psychology, every failure confirms one brutal thought. He's not the man I thought he was. And nothing kills desire faster than realizing she cannot trust you to lead. The fatal mistake men make now. Here's the part that hurts to hear, but will save you if you accept it. The fatal mistake men make is believing that giving her comfort equals giving her love. They cancel plans. They soften their discipline. They trade ambition for togetherness. They sacrifice boundaries for peace. And they believe this will make her happy. But in her subconscious, every compromise is evidence that you're easier to bend, easier to control. And what comfort creates in her isn't safety, it's contempt. Because here's the brutal insight. Comfort without strength is weakness. And weakness is the one thing she cannot respect. The moment she feels you prioritize harmony over leadership, she doesn't feel more loved. She feels less secure. And when security collapses, respect collapses with it. So while you thought moving in was the trophy of love, she quietly saw it as the beginning of a new exam. And in that exam, kindness and comfort won't save you. Strength will. The 5 powers you must never surrender. Once you live with a woman, everything you do is evidence in her mind. And there are 5 areas of power you can never afford to surrender. Lose them, and you won't just lose her respect. You'll lose yourself. 1. Time. The moment you cancel plans, skip the gym, or abandon your schedule because she wants one more night together, you've surrendered the most precious asset you own. Time is the measure of your discipline. If she can bend your time at will, she knows she can bend everything else. 2. Your emotional state. If she can provoke you into sulking, rage, or collapse, she owns you. Men confuse vulnerability with dumping chaos. They confuse openness with instability. But once she sees she can push your buttons, she no longer sees a man. She sees a dependent. And attraction cannot survive dependency. 3. Finances. Money is power. And in a shared home, it becomes the backbone of authority. Collaboration is one thing. Abdication is another. If you let her dictate how money is earned, spent, or saved, you've surrendered your frame. A woman who feels she's managing the resources eventually asks, "If I'm running the ship, why do I need him at all?" 4. Your social life. Too many men shrink their world once they move in. They stop seeing friends, stop networking, stop expanding. Suddenly, their only circle is her. And the smaller your world becomes, the smaller you become in her eyes. She doesn't want to be your universe. She wants to orbit a man with gravity beyond her. 5. Personal boundaries. This is the line in the sand. If she screams, disrespects, invades your privacy, and you tolerate it, you've declared yourself furniture. You've told her she can treat you however she wants, and you'll stay. Respect dies the moment you allow that. We've peeled back the layers. We've seen how moving in flips the psychology, how the mask comes off, how the silent restructuring begins, and how she unconsciously starts running tests you never agreed to take. Now it's time to give you the answer. The one rule that decides whether cohabitation destroys your respect or deepens her admiration. The rule: never surrender the frame. If you take nothing else from this entire series, take this. A man must never surrender the frame of the relationship, especially when living together. What is the frame? It's the unspoken structure that defines who leads, who follows, and what the dynamic truly is. It's not about being domineering. It's not about barking orders. True frame is not loud. It's steady. It's the gravity that holds the relationship in orbit. When you hold the frame, you decide where the relationship is heading. You set boundaries that protect your mission and your identity. You welcome her influence, but you don't dissolve into it. You remain the same man she admired before moving in, only stronger. But when you lose the frame, that's when contempt begins. She doesn't always say it. She may not even consciously realize it. But her respect for you begins to erode. And once respect erodes, attraction is not far behind. Why most men lose the frame? Most men fail this rule because they mistake compromise for leadership. They think being flexible, agreeable, and accommodating will keep the peace. They believe, if she's happy, the relationship is safe. If they minimize conflict, she'll love them more. If they let her win the small battles, she'll admire them for being kind. But here's the brutal truth. Constant compromise is not kindness, it's weakness. Because to her psychology, a man who is endlessly flexible is not secure. He's shaky. He can be bent, reshaped, controlled. And once she feels she can control you, her attraction quietly withers. She doesn't want a man she can manage. She wants a man she must rise to meet. The subtle ways frame is lost. Men don't wake up one day and decide to hand over authority. They lose it slowly, piece by piece. It happens when you stop pursuing your goals because she needs more us time. You let her moods dictate the tone of the house instead of setting the tone yourself. You abandon your routines, your gym, your hobbies, your focus, because cohabitation made you comfortable. You allow her criticism to shrink your energy instead of calmly standing firm in who you are. Every time you surrender one of these, you don't just lose a habit. You lose a piece of the man she respects. She won't say it directly. She'll just feel it. And feelings decide attraction more than words ever will. Passing the exam. So how do you pass this invisible test? You pass by holding frame, not once, but consistently. That means 1. Keep your mission first. Your mission, your purpose, your vision remains the North Star. Cohabitation does not replace it. A man who makes a woman his entire focus loses both his mission and eventually, her. 2. Protect your boundaries. You can love her deeply, but you do not dissolve into her. Your time, your habits, your standards stay intact. She can add to them, but she cannot erase them. 3. Lead without noise. Leadership doesn't mean constant confrontation. It means calm certainty. It means decisions that align with your values. It means a steady hand on the wheel when storms hit. 4. Welcome her energy. Don't be consumed by it. A woman's psychology is fluid, emotional, stormy at times. Your role is not to fight her storms. It's to remain the lighthouse. If you stand steady, her storms calm themselves. If you bend to every wave, she loses faith. What happens when you hold the frame? When you do this, when you stay unshaken, something powerful happens. Instead of trying to control you, she begins to relax into you. Because deep down, that's what she craves. Security. Not just financial or physical, but emotional security. The security of knowing her man cannot be toppled by moods, pressure, or comfort. When you hold the frame, her instinct to test doesn't disappear, but it transforms. Instead of testing to break you, she tests to feel you, to confirm, again and again, that her trust in you is not misplaced. And every time you pass, her respect grows. Her attraction deepens. Her loyalty roots itself. She doesn't dream of leading you. She dreams of following a man strong enough to lead himself. The consequence of failing. But let's be equally clear about the flip side. When you fail this test, when you lose the frame, resentment is inevitable. At first, it shows up as little sighs, subtle eye rolls, a cold shoulder here and there. But over time, that contempt compounds. She begins to see you not as the man she admired, but as a man she can manage. A roommate, a dependent, a project. And once a woman feels she's managing you instead of being led by you, attraction doesn't just fade, it dies. That's when affairs happen. That's when breakups come out of nowhere. That's when marriages collapse after years of simmering tension. All because the man thought living together was romance, when in reality, it was an exam he wasn't prepared for. Final word. So let me leave you with this. Living together isn't romance. It's not the prize at the end of the chase. It's not proof you've won her love. It's the beginning of a test. A test of your boundaries, your discipline, your mission, your authority. Most men fail because they think love is enough. But love without respect is nothing. And respect only lives when the frame stays intact. So remember the rule. Write it down. Burn it into your mind. Never surrender the frame. Because if you hold it, she will admire you, respect you, and stay drawn to you for life. But if you lose it, you lose her. That's the law of cohabitation. That's the female code unlocked.